Hello and welcome to Before Exams. Here we help you to prepare for your competitive examinations. Subscribe to our channel so that whenever we post the content about your exam, you get the notification about it.
Hello everyone. In today's video, we will be talking about national income. We will be studying about the meaning and overview with scope and importance of national income and how it is an economic medium. Before we start the presentation, it is very important to talk about what national income actually means. As we can say here, national income is net value of goods and services that are produced in a country during a year. It also includes the net earned foreign income. So, a variety of measures of national income and output are used in economics to estimate total economic activity in a country or a particular region. That further includes gross domestic product, gross national product, net national income, and etc. We will be talking about them in a later stage. But when we define national income as sort of an economic concept, it means the value of goods and services that are produced by a country during a financial year. Thus, it is a net result of all the economic activities of any country during a period of 1 year and is valued in terms of money. National income is an uncertain term and is often used interchangeably with the national dividend, national output, and national expenditure. We can further understand this concept by understanding the national income definition. So if we define it, it is basically the total amount of income accruing to a country from all the economic activities in a year's time. The time here is 1 year. It further includes the payments made to all the resources, either in the form of wages, interest, rent, and profits. The term national income was used in 1868 for the very first time by Dadabhai Nauroji in his book, and he calculated the national income of the country at that time. And usually it is the central statistical organization that evaluates the national income of our country. If we talk about the various methods of calculation of national income, we come across three methods primarily, that are product method, income method, and consumption method. These three are the primemost methods that are used for measuring national income of our country. We shall define them. In product method, the national income is measured as a flow of goods and services. We calculate the money value of all final goods and services produced in an economy during 1 year. Final goods here certainly refer to those goods which are directly consumed and not used in further production process. So we can say it is final value of goods and services produced in a country during 1 year, the net value of goods and services. They are not used any further. Moving on, the second method is income method. Under this method, national income is measured as a flow of factor incomes. We know there are three prominent factors of production, that is land, labor, and capital. So when we talk about land, the income that is generated from land is called rent. Income that is generated from labor is called wages, and income that is generated through capital is interest of capital or profit. So the production factors are included when it comes to income method. Labor gets wages, salaries, capital gets interest, land gets rent. There's one more factor, entrepreneurship, which gets profit and remunerations. Besides, there are some self-employed person who employ their own labor and capital, such as doctors, advocates, CAs, etc. Their income is called mixed income. So this income method pertains to the sum total of all these factor incomes, and it's called the NDP at factor cost. We'll discuss that later. Moving on, the third method is consumption method. So if we define it in the most simplest sense, we can say that when you get wages, either you save it or you use it. So when you sort of use it or save it, there's this whole formula generation, that is total consumption expenditure plus investment expenditure plus government expenditure plus exports minus imports. This is the whole formula. I shall repeat it. Total consumption expenditure plus income expenditure plus government expenditure plus exports minus imports. In India, we use product and income method. We use a blend of it in order to calculate the national income of the country. Moving on, we shall now talk about uh, the most famous term when it comes to economics or economy. It's the gross domestic product. We've heard of this word several times. We've read about it in our schools, colleges. So GDP is the total monetary or market value of all the finished goods and services produced within a country's borders in a specific time period. So, as a broad measure of overall domestic production, it functions as a comprehensive scorecard of the country's economic health. Though GDP is usually calculated on an annual basis, it can further be calculated on a quarterly basis. For example, in the US, the government releases an annualized GDP estimate for each quarter and also for an entire year. Most of the individual data sets will also be given in real terms, meaning that the data is adjusted for price changes and is therefore net of the inflation. Now, moving on to the basics of GDP, it includes all private and public consumption, government outlays, investments, additions to private inventories, paid in construction costs, and foreign balance trade. That is, exports are added, imports are subtracted. I repeat, when it comes to balance of trade, exports are added and imports are subtracted. Now, there are several types of GDP measurement. There's nominal GDP, which is the measurement of the raw data. There's real GDP that takes into account the impact of inflation and allows comparisons of economic output for 1 year to the next and other comparisons over periods of time. And then there's GDP growth rate, that is the increase in GDP from quarter to quarter, and GDP per capita, which measures GDP per person in the national populace. It is a useful way to compare GDP data between various countries. So, if we talk about the numericals of it or the mathematics behind GDP, it is the gross value added plus indirect taxes minus subsidy. Subsidy is not incurred on the producer. We very well know that it's entirely in a government expenditure. So GVA is added in GDP with indirect taxes and the subsidy is subtracted. When we talk about GVA, that is gross value added, we can say that it is value of goods and services produced in an economy in a territory, in a geographical territory. So when indirect taxes increases, GDP increases. But when subsidy increases, GDP decreases. We should know about it. We can say when we talk about GVA, that is gross value added, we can say that it is a multiplication of quantity into unit price. So whatever a produce is there, and when we multiply it with the unit price, we get the gross value added. And GDP is calculated at current and constant prices. We should know the difference between both current and constant prices. So when we talk about current prices, it is what prices are prevalent in a country right now. And when we talk about constant prices, it is based on the base year prices. And what is base year prices? It is a year when inflation will be less. Base year is the year on the basis of which we calculate the GDP. And when we super simplify real and nominal GDP, we can say that when goods and services are evaluated at some constant set of prices, it becomes real GDP, as in we sort of evaluate it on the basis of a base year. So the GDP becomes the real GDP. And if there is change in real GDP, that is, if there's some sort of change in real GDP, we can clearly undermine that production rate is changing in an economy. So when there's a fluctuation or a change in real GDP, we can say that the production rate is also changing. And when we talk about value of GDP at current prevailing prices, it becomes nominal GDP. So let's have a brief introduction about what actually a base year is. So we need base year to eliminate inflation effect on GDP and to understand the trend of economic growth. For example, let's say year 2000. In year 2000, we are producing bread and we produced 100 units of bread and prices was rupees 10 per bread. So GDP at constant price will be 100 into, we will multiply the quantity into price, so it will come out 1000 rupees. Now take year 2001 and same scenario, bread 110 units, price is 15. So what will be the GDP? It will be 1650 rupees. So we can see the constant change in prices in both the years. So that is why a base year is required when we need to understand clearly the differences. Current price won't show you the true picture of economy, rather the inflated price only. So for true picture, we need to refer to the base year since it eliminates the inflation. I will repeat this terminology. It eliminates the inflation. Now we'll talk about GDP at factor cost and GDP at market price. These are two important terminologies when we talk about GDP. So GDP at factor cost is GDP at market price minus indirect taxes plus subsidies. I repeat, GDP at factor cost is equals to GDP at market price minus indirect taxes plus subsidies. And GDP at market price will be a reverse of it. It will be GDP at factor cost plus indirect taxes minus subsidies. And subsidies won't be charged from the consumers. Moving on, there's one more concept, that is your GNP. GNP is your gross national product. It is your GDP plus X minus M. X is when someone has a unit outside India, he will bring the money back to that amount, that is your income earned and received by nation within the boundaries of foreign countries, that is your X. And M is, for example, a foreigner is working in India, so whatever he is generating will be in India itself. So GNP is GDP plus X minus M. X minus M is basically income of Indians working abroad minus income of foreigner who are working in India. As simple as that. And in closed economy, there are two types of economy, open economies and closed economies. In closed economies, GDP will always be equals to GNP for obvious reasons. Now, we will talk about the net national product, NNP. See, we know the difference between gross and net. Gross is, for example, I have this salary structure of 10 lakh rupees per annum. So that is my gross salary. But after all the compulsory deductions, what I get in my hand becomes my net salary. For example, I get 70,000 per month. I get 40,000 per month. After all the PF deductions, DA deductions, every sort of deduction, I get this little amount that becomes my net salary after deduction. So net national product is after subtracting depreciation on the capital. So NNP becomes your GDP minus depreciation. With this was the whole concept of your GDP. And now we will talk about the basic units. So when we talk about GDP based on production, the production approach basically is something like the reverse of the expenditure approach. So instead of measuring input costs that feed economic activity, the production approach estimates the total value of economic output and deducts the cost of intermediate goods that are consumed in the very process, like those of materials and services. So the expenditure approach projects forward from cost, and the production approach looks backward from the vantage of a state of completed economic activity. So, if we talk about GDP based on income, considering that the other side of the spending coin is income, and since your expense is somebody else's income, another approach to calculating GDP, which is an intermediary between the two other approaches, income approach, as we've spoken about earlier, income earned by all the factors of production in an economy includes the wages, the rent, the return on capital. So we have already spoken about that. And the income approach factors in some adjustments for some items that don't show up in these payments made to factors of production. As I've spoken about GDP, GNP, and this net national products, we will talk about the personal income and personal disposable income. And before that, we will talk about net national product after NNP at the rate at factor cost and NNP at market price. So NNP at factor cost is nothing but your national income, which we'll be covering in the upcoming videos. So whenever you hear this term NNP at factor cost, NNP at factor cost, just keep in mind that it is nothing but your national income. And it is your net national product at market price minus your indirect taxes plus your subsidy. We will be covering it in the upcoming videos. And when we talk about personal income and personal disposable income, just keep this in mind that personal income is the income of an individual, and personal disposable income, or the PDI, is income after subtraction of direct taxes. Yani PDI is your PI minus direct taxes. We'll be talking about taxes in the upcoming videos. Then comes another unit, that is your per capita income. We've read about per capita income earlier as well. So it is nothing but your total national income of a country divided by the total population. So whenever somebody has to say that what is the per capita of the country, you can simplify it by stating the formula that it is the total national income of a country divided by total population. And we've just read about national income. How do we calculate national income? There are several methods to it. So that was it. And moving on, as we know that in an increasingly global economy, the GDP is being recognized as possibly a better metric for overall economic health. And the GNI is your gross national income. It is another concept that is considered even better than GDP, because there are certain countries that have most of their income withdrawn abroad by foreign corporations and individuals. Their GDP figures are much higher than those of their GNI. So, after all this, we can have a close overview at the GNI. So, moving on, the gross national income of any country. So, if we simplify it in an easier way, we can say that the GNI it's previously known as a GNP, or the gross national product, is a total domestic and foreign output that is claimed by residents of a country, consisting of GDP plus factor income earned by foreign residents minus income earned in the domestic economy by non-residents. We've just spoken about it, the GNI. So, if we compare it with the GDP, there are several countries who use both the methods in order to get the final picture. And it is the total amount of money earned by a nation's people and businesses. So it is very important to understand the whole economic criteria that is prevalent in any particular country, because you get two pictures. You get the pictures of the foreign nationals who are residing in your country and your own people who are working abroad. So you get the overall picture of both the domains, and it is used to measure and track a nation's wealth from year to year, because that's how you know that how your economy is prospering, whether it's prospering or not. And the number further includes the nation's GDP plus the income it receives from the overseas sources. There can be multiple overseas sources in each and every country's economy. So it is an alternative to GDP. We have just read about it, and it can be considered as a means of measuring and tracking a nation's wealth, and is considered a more accurate indicator for some nations. It is considered to be even more accurate and precise. As we've just said, it is a track. So it has to be even more precise than what we actually get from the GDP. So it calculates total net income earned by a nation's people and businesses. It includes investment income, regardless of where it was earned. So it is an important line. It further includes investment income, regardless of where it was earned. It covers money received from abroad, such as foreign investment and economic development aid. The more widely known GDP is basically an estimate of the total value of goods and services produced within a nation for a set period, usually a year. And finally, there's GNP, which is broad measure of all the economic activities. So in this video, we have spoken about national income. We have spoken about the methods of national income, how we calculate national income. Then we have spoken about GDP. We have spoken about base year. We have spoken about GDP at factor cost and GDP at market prices. And we have also spoken about a difference between GDP and GNI. In the upcoming videos, we'll be talking about other units such as the direct and indirect taxes. Then we have this, we'll talk about factor cost as well in detail, and public finance, that is budget. So that is also an important concept. Now, we shall further talk about GDP, GNP, and NNP scope, because that is the criteria where you can compare the three. And the scope becomes an active constituent when it comes to the comparison of an economy of a country. So, the net national product is the monetary value of finished goods and services produced by a country's citizens overseas and domestically in a given period. It is equivalent to GNP, and the total value of nation's annual output minus the amount of GNP which is required to purchase new goods to maintain the existing stock, which is otherwise known as depreciation. We have just spoken about it. So if we understand NNP in detail, it is often examined on an annual basis as a way to measure a nation's success in continuing minimum production standards. And it can be a useful method to keep track of an economy, as it takes into account all its citizens, regardless of where they make their money, and acknowledge the fact that capital must be spent to keep the production standards high. I repeat, they keep a check regardless of where they make their money, and acknowledges the fact that capital must be spent to keep production standards high. That is NNP we are talking about. It is expressed in the currency of a nation. So NNP is sort of a means that the countries express in the form of their currency. Like we have dollars, we have European, while for European Union we have euros. So these are the representing factors. Now, we will talk about the recording depreciation. Depreciation is a very simple term, but has a different and broad meaning altogether if we read it in detail. So depreciation in the overall economy is referred to as a capital consumption allowance. I repeat, a capital consumption allowance. And it is a key component when calculating a country's NNP. So we can say that it is an indicator of the need to replace certain assets and resources to maintain a specified level of national productivity. And it is divided into two categories. There's physical capital and there's human capital. Physical capital can include real estate, machinery, and other tangible resources. We know about that. And human capital, on the other hand, it can cover skills, knowledge, abilities, and workforce to produce goods and services, as well as the necessary training or education that may be required to maintain a certain production standard. Now, when there's a certain usefulness to all these products, there's special consideration as well. Like we have environmental economics, we can consider the foreign made products, and it also factors in the value of goods and services produced overseas. So we have to consider the foreign made products. That means activities that the Indian or US manufacturers have in Asia. For example, we have count towards the US's NNP. That is not the case for GDP and NDP, however. They limit their interpretation of the economy to the geographical borders of the country. That we mentioned in the beginning only, that it basically comprises of the geographical borders of the country, nothing else. So, With this, we have spoken about the scope as well. Now, finally, at the concluding note, we will be talking about the national income and its scope. As we have just seen that it is value of goods and services produced in a country, and the various methods also we have studied about, but we have to talk about the scope of national economy as it's the basic concepts and how we deal with national economy on a daily. So there are various concepts, GDP, GNP, NNP we have just spoken about, and it is the total amount of goods and services produced within the nation in 1 year, and the wages, interest, rent, profit, we calculate it on that basis. We have also spoken about personal income, disposable income, per capita income. Now, when it comes to the methods, there are varying methods, and different countries have their own set of methods which they use in the calculation of national income of a country. So, the methods that India use, as we have just read in this particular presentation, is that it is a blend. It is a blend of both the methods of calculation of NI. So, if we move on to the definition, there's one specific definition that I would like to give as a concluding on the concluding note of this video, is the Marshalling definition. So according to Marshall, the labor and the capital of a country acting on its natural resources produce annually a certain net aggregate of commodities, material and immaterial, including services of all kinds. This is the true net annual income or revenue of the country or the national dividend. In this definition, the word net refers to deductions from your gross national income in respect of depreciation and wearing out of machinery. And to this must be added income from abroad. So this definition is also very important. It gives you the entire overview of what national income in general is. And in the upcoming videos, we will complement this with the direct and indirect taxes and several other methods. There are certain defects also. There are certain defects to the definition I have just said. This definition is advanced in a very simple and comprehensive manner, yet it suffers from a number of limitations. So if we talk about present day world, we have varied goods and services. They are numerous in number and they are produced, and it is very difficult to have a correct estimation of them. So the national income cannot be calculated correctly. Secondly, there's always this fear of mistake of double counting. You must have read this in your economic books as well, that double counting is a very predetermined glitch that usually happens, and national income, we cannot correctly estimate it if such chances are prevailing, and we can't even take the risk. So it is not to the point, it is not correct. And double counting means that a particular commodity or a service might get included in the national income twice or more than twice. So it won't give you the exact detail. So there were certain other scholars and researchers which gave a comprehensive yet effective definition of national income. We had another AC Pigou's definition. We can read that on internet, and it also had its effects, but it was more precise when it comes to comparing national income definition. And then we had Fisher's definition. He adopted consumption as the criterion of national income, whereas Marshall and Pigou referred it to be production. So consumption was there, which was new when we talk about the national income abode. Now, the national dividend or income consists solely of services as received by ultimate consumers, whether from their material or from the human environments. Thus, if we talk about a piano or an overcoat made for me this year, is not a part of this year's income, but an addition to the capital. Only the services rendered to me during this year by these things are income. This was Fisher's definition, precise and apt. Now, we can say that this definition is better than that of Marshall because it provides an adequate concept of economic welfare, which is dependent on consumption, and consumption represents the standards of living. It also had one defect. If you notice what I said earlier, there's this practical point of view, but there's certain difficulties in measuring the goods and services in terms of money, because Firstly, it is more difficult to estimate the money value of net consumption than that of net production. And in a country where there are several individuals who consume a particular good that too at different places, and therefore it is very difficult to estimate their total consumption in terms of money. Now, there are certain consumption goods that are durable and can last for many years. So that becomes another problem altogether. So with this, we come to an end to this whole lecture where we studied about meaning and overview, scope, importance, and national income, methods of national income, real and nominal GDP, base year, GDP at factor cost, and GDP at market prices. In the upcoming videos, we'll be having a pictorial definition and pictorial description of this, and we will be reading about the formulas of the content. With this,